Welcome to Dear Sisters. The column is more like Dear Abby than the Savage Lovecast. Hey Dan, I'm your host, transgender writer, editor, nerd, Stephenie Magister. Today's question is taken from K8197998 in VRHTCOM at the subreddit Ask Transgender. So here's the question. How do you respond to if you were cis? You would also laugh at the idea of a man dressed as a woman. Here is what who I refer to as CamCom said. Hello, my name is CamCom, and I'm an openly trans girl. I spend my time primarily on transgender-related subreddits in order to learn more about trans issues and how to respond to various transphobic arguments. But today I heard an argument that I had never heard before, and that I don't know how to respond to. So anyway, today, my father turned on the TV, and there was a scene featuring a man wearing a pink ballerina dress. I don't know why he wore the dress, but I do know that he had to wear it for some reason, and that he was embarrassed about it because this is something that women wear. The others tried to be supportive, but could not refrain from laughing at him even though they had promised not to. And my father laughed about their inability to restrain themselves and asked me, his openly transgender daughter. Wasn't that funny? I did not laugh. The whole ordeal reminded me of the time when I'd still been an egg. Jokes like this are the reason why I'd spent so much time being too ashamed of exploring my gender. More on that here. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure that if my perception of normality hadn't been coined by these jokes, I might have cracked sooner, which would have increased my chances of passing, left me with fewer documents to change my name of, and perhaps even improved my childhood. I responded to him by showing him this comic on my phone and explicitly telling him that both the scene and his reaction to it made me uncomfortable. He said, "That's different. They were clearly not being transphobic because he's not trans. Okay, I can understand how the notion that men shouldn't wear dresses can stifle trans people's exploration of their gender. But come on, trans people are rare. Are you saying that it's okay to ignore the feelings of a group of people if they're a minority? Let me put it this way. If you were cis, you would have laughed at this too." It made me speechless, and I didn't know how to respond to that. Please understand that my family is not purposely transphobic. They love me, and they support my transness, and I love them too. They're just very, very uneducated about the subject, but they can change. And they will listen to me, and they already have on many occasions. Thank you for your time. Hi, CamCom. I want to give you my answer for you. I highly recommend this video from FD Signifier on why these kinds of jokes fucking suck. Then you can explain to your dad why this puts him in the same heralded ranks as recently declared turf warrior and occasional stand-up comedian Dave Chappelle. Love you, Dave. So here's where your dad is wrong. FD Signifier explains why Chappelle's jokes about trans people quickly turn bad even if they weren't offensive. Why? Because they're empty. They're surface level. FD's made an excellent point, at least from my point of view, is that acknowledging the mere existence of trans people is not in itself a joke. That's not appropriate humor. That's offensive. And I don't mean offensive to trans people. I mean offensive to comedians. It's bad comedy. Pointing at a person's mere existence and laughing is as bad as Chappelle's early comedy about gay people, which was sometimes limited to simply pointing out that gay people existed, to unfortunately uproarious laughter. Sometimes my own. I'm guilty, and I feel embarrassed and ashamed about it. I'm sorry. Where your dad is right. Here's where your dad is right, but at the same time, why that just shows how bad his hand is even more clearly. To pull another quote from FD, he is attempting to hide his hand, but you have better poker eyes than Phil Ivey. You can't help it. If your experience of a person or situation evokes a visceral reaction of laughter in you, we don't have control over our emotional experiences like that. For the most part, we feel and experience things first, then do our best to explain and justify and choose how to respond to what we experience. But just like the fact that a queer person existing isn't in itself worthy of humor, neither laughing just because you feel like laughing. You may feel like laughing at something that's fucking terrible and offensive. Acknowledging and negotiating feelings and impulses like that is a vital component of waking up each day to practice mindfulness, to be an actor rather than a reactor, to be more than a person that treats your every impulse as a decision. And here are my final thoughts for you. You're not asking your family not to find this kind of example of a queer person funny. They can't control that. But they absolutely can choose not to express their personal experience as a harmful joke. And again, I hope you can get through to them by appealing to their empathy for you, other trans people, and anyone who's queer. But if that doesn't work, just remind them that no one likes a lazy comedian. I hope this helps you and other queer people in a similar situation. Best wishes, Stephenie.